Have you ever pondered on why Hernán Cortés, the Spanish conquistador, commanded his men to burn the ships? Our tale begins with a young Hernán Cortés, born into a world of limited prospects in Medellin, Spain. His adventurous spirit, however, was not to be contained. As a young man, he seized the opportunity to join an expedition to the New World, a land of untapped potential and untold dangers. Little did he know that his future would be forever tied to this mysterious and uncharted territory. In 1519, Cortés, now a man hardened by experience and driven by ambition, embarked on an expedition that was to change the course of history. Accompanied by a crew of approximately 600 men, 11 ships, and a handful of horses, he set sail for the Yucatan Peninsula. Their aim was not just to explore, but to conquer, to claim this new world for the Spanish crown. Upon arrival, the crew faced a harsh reality. The New World was far from the paradise they had imagined. Instead, they found themselves in a hostile land, facing not only the threat of unknown diseases and unfamiliar wildlife, but also the fierce resistance of the local population. Dissent began to brew amongst the crew. The expedition was proving far more challenging than they had anticipated. Some began to question Cortés's leadership, and whispers of mutiny started to circulate. Their dreams of glory and riches were quickly being replaced with fears of failure and death. The morale was at an all-time low, and it seemed like the expedition was on the brink of collapse. And it was in this atmosphere of uncertainty and fear that Cortés made a shocking decision. He issued a command that would forever seal his place in history. A command that was as audacious as it was desperate. A command that left his men with no other option but to fight for their survival in this strange new world. Against this backdrop of uncertainty and fear, Cortés delivered his shocking command. Imagine the awestruck faces of the men as they witnessed their only means of retreat engulfed in flames. The air was suddenly thick with tension, the stunned silence broken only by the crackling of fires and the crashing of timbers as the ship succumbed to the blaze. In the aftermath of Hernán Cortés's audacious command, his men stood in disbelief. The ships, their lifeline to the familiar and their escape route from the unknown, were reduced to ashes. The sight of their burning vessels was a stark reminder of the gravity of their situation. They were in a foreign land, surrounded by potential enemies, and their commander had just removed their only avenue of retreat. The immediate reaction ranged from shock to outrage. Some men muttered in hushed tones, their faces a mask of fear and uncertainty. Others openly challenged Cortés, their voices raised in anger. But their protests were in vain. The ships were burning and there was no going back. But as the initial shock subsided, a strange thing happened. The men's despair turned into resolve. The utter finality of Cortés's act forced them to confront their circumstances head-on. There was no escape, no safety net. Their only option was to move forward, to face whatever challenges awaited them head-on. The fear and uncertainty, while still present, were gradually replaced by a sense of determination and unity. Cortés's bold act, as ruthless as it may have seemed, had a profound psychological effect on his men. They were all in the same boat, or rather the same lack of one. The act of burning the ships fostered a camaraderie amongst the men, a shared sense of purpose. It was a clear message: they were not visitors in this land, they were conquerors. Cortés had effectively changed the narrative of the expedition. The men were no longer voyagers on a journey of exploration. They were soldiers on a mission of conquest. The act of defiance, as destructive as it was, had a single, clear outcome. There was no turning back. With no ships to sail back on, the men were left with two choices: conquer or perish. What were the repercussions of this audacious command? In the wake of Cortés's daring burn the ships order, the Spanish conquistadors found themselves stranded in a foreign land, their only way back home reduced to ashes. This audacious command ignited a series of events that would forever alter the course of history, not just for the Spaniards, but for the indigenous people of the Americas as well. Stuck between the proverbial rock and a hard place, the Spanish found themselves locked in a do-or-die situation. They had no choice but to fight for their survival. And fight they did. The battles that ensued were brutal and bloody, testament to the desperation and determination of men with their backs against the wall. Amidst the turmoil, Cortés, ever the strategic thinker, sought alliances with local tribes. These tribes, long oppressed by the Aztec Empire, saw in the Spaniards a chance for liberation. They rallied behind Cortés, bolstering his forces and providing invaluable local knowledge that gave the Spanish an edge in their battles against the mighty Aztec Empire. But Cortés's ruthless determination was not without its costs. The fall of the Aztec Empire, once a powerful and sophisticated civilization, was swift and brutal. Cities were razed, treasures plundered, and a culture almost wiped out. The cost of victory was steep, paid in the blood of countless Aztecs and the destruction of a civilization that had thrived for centuries. Yet, it was this very audacity, this willingness to burn all bridges and face the consequences head-on, that led to the eventual success of the Spanish conquest. It was a gamble that paid off, changing the face of the Americas forever. The repercussions of the burn the ships command were far-reaching. They extended beyond the immediate battles and the fall of the Aztec Empire, shaping the political and cultural landscape of the Americas for centuries to come. Cortés's bold decision paved the way for a new chapter in history. So, what does Cortés's burn the ships command teach us today? It serves as a stark reminder of the power of commitment, determination, and risk-taking. Cortés set ablaze his own escape route, leaving his men with no choice but to move forward. This audacious act of defiance was far more than a military strategy. It was a psychological coup that bound his men to their mission with an unbreakable resolve. His decision, controversial as it may have been, changed the course of history. It led to the fall of the mighty Aztec Empire and reshaped the New World. Today, his burn the ships command symbolizes the commitment to a cause or a dream, the willingness to risk everything for it, and the resolve to see it through, no matter the odds. Cortés' burn the ships command, a testament to human grit and resolve, continues to echo through the corridors of time.